My name is Dr. Brian Dudley, a 36-year-old physician living the American dream. I had it all: a successful medical career, a mortgage-free home, and a beautiful wife named Natalie. Our love story was enviable, the envy of our friends and colleagues. It seemed like I was living in a picture-perfect world. Natalie was the epitome of grace and beauty. She completed me, giving my life a profound meaning that transcended the boundaries of my successful career. However, my perception of our perfect life shattered when an anonymous letter arrived in the mail, changing everything. I remember the day vividly, the sun casting long shadows across our living room. The atmosphere was serene, yet a sense of unease lingered in the air as I opened the ominous letter. The words on the paper cut through the facade of our idyllic marriage, revealing a painful truth I never expected. "Your wife is not as faithful as you think," the letter read, and my heart sank. The writer claimed to know about Natalie's infidelity and promised details that would expose the cracks in our seemingly flawless relationship. Shaken, I couldn't fathom the possibility of betrayal. Natalie, my beautiful wife, the love of my life, involved in an affair. It felt like a cruel joke, but the evidence presented in the letter was too damning to ignore. I began to question the authenticity of the life we built together. That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting an orange glow across our living room, I couldn't help but confront Natalie. The weight of the revelation pressed on my chest, making it difficult to breathe. I found her in the kitchen, where the aroma of her cooking usually brought comfort. "Natalie, we need to talk," I said, my voice tense with suppressed emotion. She looked up from chopping vegetables, her eyes meeting mine with an innocence that once comforted me. "What's wrong, Brian? You seem upset." I hesitated, grappling with the words that threatened to expose the fractures in our perfect facade. "I received a letter today, an anonymous one. It claims you're not being faithful." Natalie's eyes widened in shock, her hands freezing midair. "What? Brian, you can't believe something like that. It's probably a sick joke." As doubt and confusion clouded her eyes, I couldn't shake the feeling that our perfect world was slipping through my fingers. The conversation that ensued marked the beginning of a tumultuous journey, one that would unravel the carefully crafted facade of our seemingly flawless marriage. The anonymous letter lay on the table, a silent accuser that had pierced through the veneer of my perfect life. The weight of its contents pressed heavily on my mind, compelling me to delve deeper into the shadows of doubt. Unable to shake the unsettling feeling, I confronted Natalie about the accusations. The air in the room grew thick with tension as I presented the letter, watching her face transition from confusion to a strained attempt at composure. "Brian, this is absurd. You know how much I love you," Natalie protested, her voice quivering. "Some stranger sending an anonymous letter doesn't mean anything." I studied her carefully, searching for any signs of deception. The familiar warmth in her eyes seemed to flicker, leaving behind a hint of uncertainty. The room echoed with the unspoken words lingering between us. "But Natalie, the details in this letter. It knows things that only you and I would know," I replied, my voice tinged with frustration and disbelief. She hesitated, and for a moment, the silence hung heavily in the air. "Brian, I can't believe you're buying into this. I would never betray you. We've built a life together, and I wouldn't jeopardize that." I wanted desperately to believe her, to cling to the image of the woman I thought I knew. Yet doubt lingered like a stubborn shadow, refusing to be dispelled. The foundation of trust we had carefully built now stood on shaky ground. As the night unfolded, our conversation delved into the details of the accusations. I probed, seeking the truth, while Natalie vehemently denied any wrongdoing. The room became a battleground of emotions, with each word driving a wedge between us. "Brian, this is tearing us apart. We need to trust each other," Natalie implored, her eyes pleading for understanding. The realization that our once solid foundation was crumbling hit me like a wave. I needed answers, and the only way to find them was to dig deeper into the truth. I decided to investigate, to uncover the reality of the accusations that threatened to dismantle the life we had built. The next few days were marked by a relentless pursuit of the truth. I delved into Natalie's recent activities, seeking any signs of betrayal. The journey into the unknown began, and with each revelation, the chasm between us widened, leaving me to question whether the perfect life I once knew was nothing more than an illusion. Determined to uncover the truth, I embarked on a journey of silent surveillance. My days were consumed by the shadows as I discreetly followed Natalie's every move, collecting pieces of evidence that would either confirm or dispel the allegations from the anonymous letter. The weight of deception hung in the air as I observed Natalie's routine. The once familiar contours of our life became an intricate web of uncertainty. I trailed her discreetly, watching from a distance, my heart heavy with the knowledge that every step was a step away from the idyllic life I thought we had. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the city streets, I confronted Natalie about her whereabouts. The tension in the air was palpable as I broached the subject. "Natalie, where were you today? I called and you didn't answer," I asked, my voice a blend of concern and suspicion. She looked at me with a forced smile, attempting to conceal any hint of unease. "Oh, Brian, I was just caught up with rehearsals. You know how it gets. Rehearsals, a convenient excuse that had once held my trust. Yet the layers of doubt clouded my judgment, and I couldn't help but question the authenticity of her words. "Rehearsals, Natalie? I've been to your rehearsals before, but today felt different. What's really going on?" I pressed, my eyes searching for the truth. Her gaze wavered for a moment, a subtle flicker of discomfort passing across her features. "Brian, I promise there's nothing to worry about. It's just a busy time for the show, and I've been preoccupied." The words hung in the air, a fragile bridge between the truth and the facade. I nodded, choosing to bide my time and continue my silent surveillance. As the days passed, the evidence accumulated, painting a picture of deception that I couldn't ignore. Late one evening, as I watched Natalie from a discreet vantage point, the weight of my discoveries pressed heavily on my shoulders. I confronted her with newfound revelations, forcing her to confront the reality of her actions. "Natalie, I've seen things that can't be ignored," I said, my voice strained with the burden of truth. She looked at me, her eyes mirroring a mixture of fear and guilt. "Brian, you're overthinking this. We can work through it." The promise of reconciliation hung in the air, but the truth had cast a long shadow over our once perfect life. The silent surveillance had unraveled the facade, leaving us at the precipice of a painful reckoning. The weight of betrayal hung heavy in the air as I meticulously planned the confrontation with Natalie. Weeks of silent surveillance had culminated in a carefully orchestrated moment where I would expose the truth and confront her with the evidence that would shatter the illusion of our perfect life. The chosen day arrived, tension brewing beneath the surface as I prepared for the confrontation. The setting sun cast an amber glow, creating an eerie calm before the storm. Friends gathered for what they believed was a casual get-together, unaware of the storm that loomed on the horizon. As laughter and conversation filled the room, I could feel the weight of the impending revelation pressing on my chest. The room buzzed with an illusion of normalcy, unaware that the very fabric of our lives was about to unravel. "Brian, why the serious face? It's a party, lighten up." Oliver, my close friend, chided as he handed me a drink. I forced a smile, concealing the turmoil within. "Just a lot on my mind lately, Oliver. You know how it is." The evening progressed, each passing moment intensifying the pressure of the impending revelation. I watched Natalie from across the room, her laughter and easy smiles a stark contrast to the storm brewing within me. As the night wore on, I gathered everyone around, a knot tightening in my stomach. "Hey, everyone, gather around. I have something special to share," I announced, the gravity of my words catching the attention of the room. Natalie's eyes met mine, curiosity mingled with uncertainty. "Brian, what's going on?" she whispered, her voice laced with concern. The room fell into a hushed silence as I projected a video clip onto the screen, a damning visual representation of the truth I had discovered. Gasps echoed through the room as the reality of Natalie's infidelity played out before our friends. "What is this, Brian?" Natalie's voice trembled, her eyes darting between the screen and my face. "This, Natalie, is the truth you thought you could hide," I said, my voice steady despite the turmoil within. Friends exchanged glances, their expressions shifting from confusion to shock. Oliver, who had been my confidant throughout this ordeal, stood silently, his eyes fixed on the unfolding drama. "You were supposed to be my partner, my confidant. Instead, you betrayed me," I continued, the pain of betrayal seeping into every word. Natalie's face paled, the weight of guilt settling in. "Brian, I can explain." The room became a battleground of emotions, accusations hurled in the air like daggers. The confrontation had begun, and with it, the unraveling of the perfect facade that had shielded our lives from the harsh realities within. The room fell into a stunned silence as the video clip played, capturing the painful reality of Natalie's infidelity. The flickering light from the screen illuminated the faces of our friends, their shock mirroring my own as the unraveling truth filled the room. Natalie's eyes widened as she watched the damning evidence unfold. The air became thick with tension, and the weight of betrayal hung palpably in the room. I stood resolute, my emotions suppressed beneath a veneer of strength, determined to confront the reality that had shattered our once perfect life. "What is this, Brian?" Natalie's voice trembled, her eyes pleading for an explanation. I met her gaze, the pain of betrayal etched on my face. "This, Natalie, is the truth. The truth you thought you could hide," I replied, my voice cutting through the silence. Oliver, my confidant throughout this ordeal, stood nearby, his eyes filled with a mixture of sympathy and disbelief. "Brian, I had no idea it would come to this," he muttered, his words heavy with regret. The video played on, capturing intimate moments between Natalie and her lover. Gasps escaped the lips of our friends, their disbelief echoing in the room. The unraveling truth exposed the fractures in our once perfect marriage, leaving us all grappling with the aftermath. Natalie, desperate to salvage some semblance of control, stammered, "Brian, please, let me explain. There's more to this than what you see." But my resolve remained unshaken. "Explain?" "The video speaks for itself, Natalie. You betrayed us." As accusations and apologies mingled in the air, the room became a battlefield of emotions. Friends shifted uncomfortably, torn between disbelief and the undeniable evidence before them. The confrontation I had meticulously planned had erupted into a storm of chaos, leaving us all to navigate the wreckage of trust and deception. "Brian, let's step outside and talk," Natalie pleaded, her eyes welling with tears. I shook my head, unwilling to yield to further manipulation. "No more lies, Natalie. The truth is out, and we're facing the consequences." The chapter closed with the lingering echoes of the confrontation, the shattered remnants of our perfect facade scattering in the emotional aftermath. The video evidence had unveiled a painful truth, and now we all stood on the precipice of a new reality, forever changed by the revelations that unfolded in the dimly lit room. The aftermath of the confrontation left us all reeling, the remnants of our shattered lives scattered like fragments of broken glass. The revelation of Natalie's infidelity had become a painful reality, and as we grappled with the emotional aftermath, unexpected twists continued to unfurl, deepening the complexity of the situation. Days after the confrontation, legal complications emerged, throwing an additional layer of complexity into the mix. Natalie, now confronted not only with the emotional fallout but also with the potential legal consequences of her actions, navigated the impending storm with a mixture of remorse and desperation. One evening, as the weight of the situation pressed heavily on my shoulders, I received a call from Natalie. The tone of her voice was laden with anxiety and regret as she tried to make sense of the unexpected turns our lives had taken. "Brian, I never meant for any of this to happen. Can't we find a way to work through this without involving lawyers?" she pleaded, her desperation palpable. I sighed, the gravity of the situation weighing on my conscience. "Natalie, the trust is broken. Legalities aside, we need to figure out how to move forward from here." The conversation lingered on, a delicate dance between regret and the harsh reality of our new normal. Unexpectedly, Natalie dropped another bombshell. She was pregnant. The revelation hung in the air, casting a shadow over the already tumultuous situation. "Pregnant? Natalie, how could you keep something like this from me?" I exclaimed, my voice a mix of shock and anger. Her response was a mixture of tears and remorse. "Brian, I didn't know how to tell you. With everything falling apart, I feared losing you completely." The unexpected twist added a layer of complexity, forcing us to confront not only the shattered trust, but also the impending arrival of a child whose future hung in the balance. The emotions swirled, a turbulent storm that refused to relent. Amidst the chaos, I sought solace in conversations with Oliver, my unwavering confidant. "Brian, life has an uncanny way of throwing unexpected twists at us. We'll get through this, one step at a time," he reassured me, his words a beacon of support in the storm. The chapter closed with the realization that the fallout from Natalie's betrayal had transcended the realms of emotion and now extended into the complex landscape of legal battles and impending parenthood. The unexpected twists had thrust us into uncharted territory, leaving us to navigate the intricate web of consequences that awaited on the horizon. As the tumultuous aftermath of Natalie's betrayal unfolded, another layer of intrigue emerged, a mysterious stalker in the shadows. Paranoia gripped me as I became increasingly aware of an unseen threat watching from a distance. One evening after a particularly unsettling day, I received a message from Oliver. "Brian, there's something you need to know. I've been hearing rumors about someone watching your house. Be careful." The revelation sent shivers down my spine, and I couldn't shake the feeling of being observed. The stalker's presence added a sinister dimension to an already chaotic situation. leaving me to question the motives and identity of this unseen menace. One night, unable to contain my anxiety, I confided in Oliver about the unnerving sense of being watched. Oliver, I can't shake off this feeling that someone is following me, watching our every move. What if they're connected to Natalie's actions? Oliver's expression shifted from concern to contemplation. We need to find out who this stalker is, Brian. It might be unrelated, but given the circumstances, we can't ignore anything. The days that followed were marked by heightened paranoia. Every shadow seemed to harbor unseen eyes, and every unfamiliar face in the crowd triggered a wave of anxiety. The stalker in the shadows became a constant, malevolent presence, adding a layer of suspense to an already complicated narrative. One afternoon, as I reviewed security footage, I stumbled upon glimpses of the mysterious figure. Dressed in black from head to toe, their face obscured by sunglasses, the stalker's identity remained a well-guarded secret. The realization that someone was observing my every move heightened the sense of vulnerability that already permeated my life. Fueled by a mix of fear and determination, I shared my findings with Oliver. "We need to get to the bottom of this, Oliver. The stalker could be connected to everything that's happened." Oliver nodded, his eyes reflecting a shared sense of urgency. "I'll look into it, Brian. We can't let this go unresolved." As the chapter unfolded, the presence of the stalker cast a chilling shadow over the already complex narrative. Unraveling the mystery of this unseen adversary became a paramount concern, intertwining with the emotional fallout from Natalie's betrayal and the impending legal battles. The stalker in the shadows added a layer of suspense, leaving us all to grapple with the uncertainty of an unseen threat lurking just beyond our field of vision. Amidst the chaos of legal battles, impending parenthood, and the mysterious stalker, I delved deeper into unraveling the secrets that seemed to have woven a web of deception around my life. Oliver, my unwavering ally, took on the task of digging into the shadows, determined to unearth the truth behind the enigmatic figure haunting our every move. One evening, as the weight of uncertainty pressed heavily on my shoulders, Oliver entered my home with a determined look on his face. "Brian, I've been digging into the stalker situation. It's more complex than we thought." I furrowed my brow, anxiety gnawing at me. "What have you found, Oliver?" He took a deep breath before delivering the unsettling news. "The stalker seems to have connections to Natalie's past. It's as if someone is deliberately orchestrating all these events." The revelation hit me like a punch to the gut. Connections to Natalie? But why? What does this stalker have to do with her infidelity? Oliver hesitated, choosing his words carefully. "It's possible that Natalie's actions were manipulated or coerced by someone with a hidden agenda. This stalker might be a pawn in a larger game." As the implications of Oliver's findings sunk in, the tangled web of secrets surrounding Natalie's betrayal began to unravel. The complexity of the situation heightened, transforming my quest for truth into a relentless pursuit of justice against those who sought to manipulate the course of my life. Determined to confront Natalie with these newfound revelations, I arranged a meeting. The air was thick with tension as we sat across from each other, the weight of unspoken words hanging between us. "Natalie, I need to know the truth. Who is behind all of this? The stalker, your actions? Everything seems orchestrated," I implored, desperation lacing my voice. Her eyes welled with tears as she confessed, "Brian, I never wanted any of this. I was blackmailed. There's someone who knows about my past, someone who's pulling the strings." The revelation left me stunned. The person I had once believed to be the orchestrator of our downfall was now a victim herself, ensnared in a web of manipulation and deceit. As the chapter drew to a close, the layers of deception peeled away, revealing a more intricate narrative than I could have ever imagined. The quest for truth became a relentless pursuit, not only to salvage the remnants of my shattered life, but to unmask the puppeteer who had orchestrated this elaborate game of secrets and lies. Thank you for listening to the story to the end, and if you like it, please support us with a like as well as subscribe to our channel. Write in the comments what you